everybody. Welcome back to Moments of Truth and part 3 of the truth about what it means to be a Christian. You can go back, look at part 1, look at part 2, to catch the things that you missed. But for time's sake, I'm going to keep it moving. So I've said that there are really 3 things that were associated with what it means to be a Christian based on the disciples who were the followers of Christ, who were the first people who identified to be Christians. If they were the people, the disciples I'm talking about, who were established and identified as the people and the reason why the name Christians was deemed in the first place, then they represent the standard of what it means to be Christians. And so we can't kind of just say, come up with our own thing on what it means to be Christians now, because, well, that was a long time ago. Well, they were the people who were following Christ, who earned the reputation from the other non-believers as being identified as Christians. By the way, just in case you didn't know this, that wasn't a cool term back then. It wasn't a praise report to be called a Christian. It was a criticism, okay? Because the non-believers, the people who didn't believe, they were actually a part of the sect of people who helped crucify Christ. So they didn't like Christ. They certainly didn't like his followers, right? So the standard established by the disciples is the standard for what a Christian is. So let me kind of say this, and I'll give you the third thing, because I said that there are 3 things associated with what it means to be a Christian. One is walking in the Spirit. The second one is walking in God's will. The third one is walking in God's purpose. What we have to understand is God's will is not our will. So all of these people who are telling you to pursue your dream and to live your best life and to don't let nobody tell you, stop you from doing what you want to do and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that sounds good. But that's not the Bible. That's not the scriptures. The Bible over there in Corinthians tells us that you were bought with a price and your life is not your own. Right? It tells us that in 1 Corinthians. All right? I read you last week where the Bible talks about in Matthew, it says there's going to be a lot of people who are going to say to God in the last day, didn't we do many wonderful works in your name? And he's going to say, depart from me, ye that work iniquity. You who were pursuing singing careers, acting careers, sports careers, this, that, and your priority in life was those things. It doesn't mean that none of those people are Christians. It doesn't mean that you can't be or do any of those things. But there is a difference in being something, and in the course of being that, you conform and cater and focus your course in life on pleasing God versus you pursuing the American dream. Because most of the people who say God called them to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that, and those things are gospel singers, they are some other kind of a singer, they're some kind of an actor, there's somebody who's trying to be rich and famous. Most of what they're saying is God called them to be rich and wealthy and famous. Now they're not saying that out of their mouth, but their pattern of behavior demonstrates that. And again, I'm not talking about everyone. So for all of you all out here who hear what I'm saying and you got criticism already about what I'm saying, no, I'm not saying that this applies to everybody. But if the shoe fits, wear it. See you next time.